Welcome to Flowers and Tea, where the ladies lead the conversation on politics, pot, and policy. I'm Dr. Beast, and I'm here with my ladies, and this is our final episode. Oh, it's here. We are still in Holistic Solutions, except instead of a really cool backdrop, Suzanne brought us upstairs, and we get to be blessed on the inside of this space with all the beautiful flowers around. So please, when you come and you check it out, Atco, New Jersey, she has, it's such a huge store. You know what? Tell them about your store.
Well, we are located at 451 White Horse Pike, Atco, New Jersey. We are the first alternative treatment center to be majority Black owned. We've been operational for 3 years. It's just a wonderful community. It is a very rural, suburban community that has been around since the late 1800s. It has been a very welcoming opportunity. We bought a Wells Fargo bank and turned it into our dispensary. So we have a drive-through and soon to have operational lanes 2, 3, and 4 coming soon. We have curbside and we just got approved for our delivery.
Woo. Did I hear bought?
Yeah, we bought our building back in 2022. At that time, the state had given us 1 year from award to full build out. So we finalized our purchase on October 6th, and we had to be open by December 3rd. So for a period of 40 days, we lived at the dispensary. We were here 24 hours a day. We spent Thanksgiving here. Wow. We spent holidays here. We slept here at times. Construction was 24-hour operation. We were one of the first licenses that requested an extension, but unfortunately the CRC was not in that mindset. Later they changed those laws to allow applicants to have a less compressed time, because you can imagine how expensive and stressful build-out was. And if you hadn't completed your build-out at the time, they were looking to rescind your licenses at that time. So we were one of the first OGs that come through, and we've been very happy and operational in beautiful South Jersey. And again, thank you all so much for coming, and welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for your hospitality.
Except for Gretchen has a Steelers sweater on.
There ain't nothing wrong with Steelers. It's a totally different division.
Listen, we won't be having a guest today because we wanted to end our final season with just the ladies and really catch up and just discuss everything that's been going on. We've had so much movement, and now we're entering Black History Month. What is that going to be looking like for everybody? What does that look like for you in equity and what you plan on doing this year? Do you have particular plans?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we want to do is a really fun partnership. I'm not going to announce it quite yet, but we are looking to make sure that we are highlighting our partners who are Black and brown, and that we are elevating a particular person right now who is going to be launching something really cool, and just making sure that he gets that spotlight. So as always, anytime these months come around, it's your job to just highlight and spotlight the folks who are out there doing the work.
Right. That's amazing. And you've been doing so much amazing work in New Jersey.
Thank you.
I think we really need to take the time to shout out Ascend. Thank you for sponsoring this season and allowing us to be able to travel down to ACO, to travel to different places, and to really be able to get out our message, the work, and to get all the policymakers to understand, there are people that are really having this lived experience and on the ground. And to what you said about construction, right? Just how are we going to continue to be equitable if there is not some sort of relief in the process? Because things take a long time.
It does. And you said Black History Month, but Danielle has been doing phenomenal work, just representing diversity, culture, and community, and just really empowering and leading. We need individuals like Danielle and Ascend just forging forward when things aren't cool. They're not just the hot topic.
Yep.
My mother liked to call them fair weather friends. Thank you, Ascend, for being sustainable, for remaining in community and staying in the gap when it was not comfortable.
Right.
Okay.
That part.
I appreciate you all so much for that. I really thank you. And thank you for welcoming me and for, teaching me, showing me, introducing me to people. It's really been amazing to just find the support in the community here. So I really appreciate that. And shout out to Ascend as well. Shout out to Frank Perullo, who is my boss. Shout out to Sam Brill, who is our CEO. Standing in the gap and still staying with social equity when we are pretty much the last fully functional department has really been incredible. I have never felt more supported, and that's a big statement. I've never felt more supported in a job to do equity work. So I really appreciate them, and I appreciate you all for that.
Of course. Jersey is not the only place that you support.
For sure. I work in all of our other states. Shout out to Claire Warren, who we are a mighty department of two. I could not do this without her. So she's in the Midwest and I tend to do the Northeast. And so that's great because we are both from there. We know how important it is to be culturally relevant when you're there. So it's a great team. I can't complain because we are passionate and we love it. So it doesn't feel like work,
right,
you know?
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the beautiful thing about all of this. And, I think we're all tied and tethered to the plant. Even Gretchen don't consume and she is fighting the fight. She's like, I'm driving up to Jersey every time. I'm getting my thoughts out there. Yep. We appreciate you.
You'd be the only one.
And although you're not a lawyer, you have educated me so much. I've learned so much from you. Like, I'm like, yeah, Gretchen, what? So thank you.
Yeah. I speak old white man fairly well. Yeah. And I'm a translator to this industry who needs it desperately because they're missing the boat on so many fronts. And I hate to say this, sometimes you just got to get along to get what you want. You got to play the game, and everyone hates to hear that in Washington. But especially when your crowd's not in charge, you need to figure out a way to get along with who is to still get your needs taken care of.
Right. If you had to send a message to the industry, right? Last episode, we've been talking about a lot of different things. What do you feel like we really need to drive home?
Honestly?
Yep. Yes. That's all we care about here is honesty.
I mean, truly, my message to the industry would be to live in reality.
Ooh. I can't stand a delusional motherfucker.
Can we stand on a pause on that? Pregnant pause.
She said live in reality.
I think the biggest thing holding back this industry politically, in business, everyone is operating on the world that they want, not that the world that they live in.
Gretchen, you gonna make me get up and walk out and walk back in. Okay.
It makes me so mad. And I'm like, because I'm looking at Congress and people are like, I want this, I want this, I want this. I'm like, these jokers won't even give you banking. Right. Why do you think they're gonna do that for you? So you got to work with what you got, and we got to make it happen. It's like all these people who don't want to pay their 280E. I hear you. Rescheduling's coming someday. It's not here yet. It's not even done yet until it actually gets through all the lawsuits. So all these people who think they're going to evade their taxes for another year, IRS is going to come a-calling. It's not going to be retroactive. That I'm telling you, that's not even prediction. That's guaranteed, not retroactive. So unless you're an MSO who can afford thousands and thousands of attorneys to try and fight this, don't even think it.
And some of them are not able to afford a lot right now based on their bet and hedger that these debts would have been reconciled prior to many of them coming due in 2026. So
yeah, we done seen some stories come this year.
Yes.
Right? One of them was related to debt in an MSO. But right in my city, in Jersey City, RIP IC in his store, we're seeing the attrition.
Yes.
We're seeing those that could not operate and maybe didn't have, like you always talk about, the business acumen to get this done. Those that didn't care about really learning their local community and what they wanted, right? Maybe high potency isn't their thing. Maybe this isn't their thing, right? Really understanding buying. And now we're here at sort of this second run of something that's already been established, but now we're really getting to see who the players are. What do you think is going to be, what we're going to see in the next few months?
So what I'm really concerned about is that on a state governmental position, we're not talking about closures right now.
Oh, girl.
We're inviting people into the industry.
Speak on it.
But we have not talked about the lack of sustainability in the current industry. Many dispensaries have closed. Operations are fiscally and financially in peril. So I'm just a little disappointed in the lack of transparency with the industry. Right. And that's why I feel that business advisory groups, to help support leadership, to be able to have those transparent conversations. It's amazing that dispensaries have closed and we've not heard a peep from our government.
What do you expect them to say?
Well, the fact that there's a crisis in New Jersey.
Right.
They don't see it that way. Nobody sees it as a crisis in government.
Well,
I guarantee
and that's the problem with government,
Right.
that we are operating in a crisis. There is hemorrhaging throughout the state, but yet we are providing Neverland, sometimes information to individuals about an industry that's 6 years ago. It may not be the current presentation.
Absolutely.
You talked about living in the reality. We need to live in the reality of where we are. Where are the business loans? Where is the business support? Where is the additional monies from the New Jersey bank that was supposed to be created 7 to 8 years ago that has never materialized? Many different states have been able to provide money, loans, no interest, to many parts of the industry, not just a siloed piece of it that many of us can't access.
I'm still waiting for the 75,000
because of a check or a date when I was incorporated, and it's this innocuous things, death by 1,000 needles, that don't help push our industry forward. So I'm concerned about the closures. I'm concerned with my team members or my colleagues saying, hey, or my manufacturer saying, hey, so I'm not getting paid.
Yeah.
Like we're taking on debt that we can't, and we can't do product selection. I can't pay my team. Like those are some real conversations happening. Now that's not all operators, and that's not here at Holistic. But again, being tapped in, I talk to a lot of people in the state, and hearing multiple conversations, and then you go back to the agency leading the charge, you don't hear that level. I've never heard it on the board meeting. I've not heard one time that they mention a closing of a store on a state board meeting.
I think one reality that we don't face, either in Jersey or federally or in any of these states, is that politicians look at this industry as like, yay, I've done something for these people. But if the industry goes under, I do not care.
Wow, Gretchen.
It's the truth.
That hit like the truth, my mother would say. That hit
I mean,
like the
they just do not care. They have no problem with everyone in the world going back to the illicit market and being like, I told you so. This is the devil weed. It's bad stuff. Until this industry can start to act like a movement again and get behind the medicine, they need to be pushing forward patients' rights. They need to be saying, this is what I want to take, instead of 5,000 opioids for, my various issues when you break your leg. Until people are standing up and say, this is what I want, and not the pharmaceuticals, not the crazy drugs, politicians are not going to care. They don't care. They have no problem with us all just going back into the illicit industry and be like, I told you so. We didn't give you the support you needed. Oh, well, we didn't think there was any value in you. They don't see it.
So then tell me about like the opportunities when some states roll out a medical market and then they look to convert, and then you see the medical market almost be depleted, kind of like we were in the state of New Jersey.
That's what they do.
Right,
so then,
every time.
So then tell me about that dichotomy, because again, many of us want to see recreational in markets to help with the lack of disparity of incarceration and arrests. And
that's an issue again. They don't care about.
Wow.
I think it's less about making the dispensaries medical and not medical, because it's the same plant. It's the educational component. And because they're not giving that to really have everybody understand, even if you are an adult use dispensary, and even if you don't recognize, we had Holly on that said she was a believer, right? But she had consumed before, and it wasn't until she had this medical experience that she shifted her mindset. That was only because she rationalized that experience. But a lot of people come in here and say, I'm having a stressful day. I'm going to smoke. Yeah. I'm feeling anxious. I'm going to smoke. And it's like, those are all still medical reasons.
That's right. Yep. Discretionary use, right? Exactly. I heard, I think it was Dr. Rachel Knox who had said at one point that she would love to see the term change from recreational to discretionary, because, people are medicating for different reasons, et cetera. And I loved that idea. And I think to your point, Gretchen, though, around state and government not caring, I think that's very real and that's very right. Facts. And then though, it then becomes, okay, so then who cares and who is going to take up the charge? Like, what are the organizations who are going to look at what's happening, who are going to analyze the market, say this amount of people have closed. We know that we're committed to equity. That means our people are the most vulnerable, because if you have big ones closing, you have mid-grade closing, like the littlest ones are most impacted. Why aren't we doing that analysis in real time? Why aren't we then pulling together as an entire industry? I've talked about this before. Yes. To Gretchen's point, you got to put your full weight. To Gretchen's point, live in reality. We all are not going to agree on everything, but you better agree on your bottom line. So yeah, I'm just interested. Where is that organization? Where are those folks who are analyzing the markets and then helping to advise policy to make sure more folks don't go under?
Those people do not exist. I mean, what you're looking at, frankly, are lobbyists who are looking to keep their jobs.
Right.
You look at like the hemp ban that has just gone down in the CR. People are looking at ways to put language into the next CR. By the time this show will have occurred, we'll know what had happened at that point. I don't think anything's going to occur because A, Washington doesn't care. B, those people are asking for postponement of the language to keep their job for another year. They're saying, and I understand the whole process, it takes time to come up with regs and yada, 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 yada. But there are simple fixes to certain things.
For sure.
And they just don't go for them. Yeah. So I think a number of lobbyists in this space, and I'm not going to say who, I think a number of them are just looking to keep their jobs. And so they do the minimal effort. Yeah. Or they say one thing knowing that they're not going to get what they're promising, for sure, but they can just keep people hanging on and hanging on. There are no lobbyists, drives me nuts, in this space who are here for the industry. Yeah. They're here for one company. They're here for a couple companies. Right. They're not here to make it a better place. Right. You look at, when I hear from offices on the Hill, no other industry is like this, where they're like, we can't make a decision because all y'all come in here wanting something completely different. This is my point. And it's one thing to have different viewpoints. It's okay for, yes, Coca-Cola's not going to want exactly what Pepsi wants or whatever and stuff, but ours are all over the place.
Get aligned on what makes sense.
And it's all just to benefit one group, like one company. And it's like, well, you can't make policy going that way. And we are dying quickly. People, they were surprised by my reaction to Schedule 3. Other people were like, yay, and I'm like, even my partner, Don Murphy, he's been fighting for cannabis change for over 20 years. Love Don. He was like, all right, now I can step back. He's done. And Don's put in his time. Yeah. But me, I was just like, and I'm a very doom and gloom for those who know it. So to me, I was just like, and I don't want to, I'm going to drop the F-bomb. I was like, fuck. I was like, because the reality I saw when Schedule 3 happened is all the bad stuff that can come in. And I don't trust anyone in the administration and various folks to do this right. Yeah. And I don't trust the industry to keep their backbones into this whatsoever. They're just going to be like, yay, we got this, and run away. Yeah. Congress is going to be like, we gave you something. They're all going home. I mean, I have looked at 2026 as... this is going to be a horrible year for cannabis, frankly. Yay, we might get Schedule 3 done. I'm hopeful we get Schedule 3 done in the next few months. I think that's all that's going to happen. I think every other piece of legislation, bye-bye, so long. Not happening. Congress doesn't care. Midterms are coming up. They ain't voting for cannabis in an election year. Yeah. So pack your bags. Maybe in 2027, someone will be back. And at that point, most likely we're going to have a Democratic House going against a Republican Senate. Ain't shit going to happen then either. So I'm looking at dude.
I'm just over here like listening, like
right. You're like, all right, calculating out
2028.
It just depends on I don't know who the next administration is going to be. I have no clue if we're going to get a different administration in 2028.
right. Vote in your local elections. Like that's all I got to say.
And it's because we don't care. We don't educate.
Yes. Right.
Yes. I think and I hate to keep going on my soapbox, but cannabis, hemp. Politicians see it all the same. Sure. They see intoxicating hemp products, illicit shit, whatever. We're all the same. When everyone's out there looking for some kid who got sick to make an example of, Dan Patrick in Texas is waving around the illicit products. Yeah. He's blaming the entire cannabis industry. He ain't bothering with the illicit. It's like all y'all are bad. And every politician's just like, yep. They're all bad. And that's how we got the hemp ban. And that's why we can't get anything done in Congress, because we do not know how to educate. We do not know how to get out there at all. And whenever you get the activists that do show up in Washington, they're all bitching and moaning for deschedule. Deschedule or bust? Well, bust, because it's all you're going to get. It just makes me mad. Straight up.
Unless Wanda wins. And she puts that bill in, and
then we got one.
Then she's gonna fight like hell.
Fight for it.
Back to voting.
So I'm very doom and gloom on 2026. I'm sorry. So
we have Jasmine Crockett running for Senate. So the Senate looks like there's some possibilities of something.
And I even like Jasmine.
I like Jasmine too. I like Jazzy.
Yikes! When's the last time they elected a Democrat?
It was with that guy who jumped on the car hood. He was very close. What was the gentleman's name?
On the car hood?
All right. Yeah. What was his name? He ran a couple times down in Texas.
He jumped on a car?
Yeah, he jumped on the hood of a car. And
He's a senator?
No, he didn't win.
When did somebody win?
They have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They have it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Listen, we're doomed.
All of us are doomed.
The Dukes of Hazzard. We're running for Congress down there.
But
their car.
I do think that if what you've said, which I tend to believe, that if we did rescheduling in Q1, there are some things that fundamentally will happen. The FDA will have to get involved, because again, it would have to roll it out to states that currently have a legalized market, so there'll have to be some sort of federal and state reconciliation at some point. I do think the next big push, even if it might not be, in my mother's words, real, but is the requests for access to the money markets, because again, that would help out the industry as a whole.
Yes.
And there is unity on that.
Right.
We all agree with access to capital markets.
That's right.
So there is something that we all can agree on and get and push
Several
behind.
things.
So what are your thoughts about that, Gretchen?
The only one, and for those who are unclear about what safe banking does, it does not include uplisting. So that is not a part of it. There is one piece of legislation. It has not been reintroduced yet. I hear it's a coming attraction. Is the Climb Act.
I supported that with Congressman Troy Carter down in Louisiana.
Very nice man. He's a Democrat, not going anywhere. So that's what you're dealing with.
But they did attach it the last time and did get more support than the MORE Act. So
not happening. And where'd the MORE Act go?
The MORE Act, we were self-defeatist. We wanted an all or nothing approach.
Republicans.
Unless all people
Heard that
were free,
before.
no people were free. So
Right.
at this point,
I hear
I think
you.
there might
And
be
I
a
believe-
different sentiment.
If you want the Climb Act to go anywhere, it needs to be introduced by a Republican, because it ain't going to happen in an election year. Not happening.
Well,
Bye-bye.
we do
So
have
long.
Republicans that are agreeing to potentially support, because that's one of the things about
I'm not-
Congressman
you can't
Carter.
support. You
well,
gotta
no, to
sponsor.
sign on and sponsor the bill. I think we do have some potential sponsors, because again, Congressman Carter is from Mike Johnson's state. Again, he has some.
And Mike
great
Johnson is no fan of
isn't,
cannabis.
He isn't, but he supports Congressman Carter, and I think there might be other constituents who would be able to come across the table to kind of get it done.
Nope.
And that's what we need.
Nope.
Okay. No one?
Nope. So this is what happens in an
Gretchen's like,
election
no.
year. And this is an election year. If this
It
were
is.
another year, perhaps what you're
So
saying
you
could
think
happen.
the midterms are really
I'm
mucking
saying
it up?
yes.
Okay.
Bipartisanship out the window.
Okay.
Nobody is going to do anything together to support the other party. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's not going to advance. It's not going to go anywhere. I've talked to some other folks who think uplisting could potentially happen through some executive actions, and I'm like, great, more executive actions, and that's relying on Treasury to give some direction to the markets. And who knows? That's a possibility. But I think in an election year, you're not going to see anything go through Congress.
Okay, so November will be here before we know it.
Yep.
The summer is upon us. So then after midterms, 2027.
You're thinking in the lame duck or next year?
Lame duck, 2027. There's a do nothing at that point. We're not at the presidential year 2028. 2027 might be that year of the win.
Okay.
I don't have time for this shit.
So listen, I'm like,
Hold on. Just hold on to 2027. We
so it's like
that's coming.
2030 is our year.
Right. 2035.
Do you hear us?
Yes.
I know,
Yes,
it's impossible.
like this is a strategy of trying to figure
Dude.
out like, what are they
Strategy. This
doing?
is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Congress has never
goodness.
been the path to something quickly. It doesn't
Going
work.
back to this in New Jersey, the closings,
Yeah.
right? The data they were very forward with the data when it came to who you are.
Oh yeah.
The first black woman,
Stand
who
up.
I am. First, just
Yeah.
check every goddamn
I was
box.
about to say, go through the list of all the things, all the demographics.
And they did have a person, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't a data person or an analyst from a real, like, rooted in research, but they were supposed to track, monitor. Of
course.
And they did. They did so much that they put us up on the wall every meeting. You're so wonderful. I'm so wonderful. I have not seen any of the closures in the meeting, on the board. Transparency, honesty. So we keep having these conversations about what's going to happen in 2027 and what's going to happen in 2030. This is a nightmare right now.
Correct.
And no one is acknowledging the real issues because, and to what you said, Gretchen, like,
They don't care.
they don't care. But the reason why this should be alarming here is that the majority of them have been celebrities. So that should send a certain level of a message that
Why do you think that is? Why are celebrity-backed companies failing?
that's a good question. I'm going to tell you why I think they don't do well. But the point is that they have name, they have money, they have celebrity, they have recognition, they have all marketing, right?
Sure.
Because of who they are. While we're over here navigating the FCC, they have all the reasons why their business should be successful. So why are they the first to close? Well, one, they probably don't want to continue to pump money into it, and they're just fine just walking away, because also it's probably not always tied directly to them, right? Their likeness is really what's carrying it.
Yeah.
But what the real issue is they take their celebrity, they put it on a name of a brand. Most of the time, it's not even their brand. So in this case, right, in Jersey City, this was a partnership from someone from California that he put his name on.
Yeah.
They never go out into the community.
Right.
They never show up. They're never in the store. Then everybody goes to the grand openings with some sort of delusion, because apparently no one lives in reality.
Nope.
And they all go there and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to see Bud Tender iced tea tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Amazing.
I'm going to go right downtown Newark, go check out Raekwon, and like all is well.
Wu-Tang forever.
Delusional forever is what all of y'all are. Starting with our government here. Nothing is going to get better if we don't start talking about these things, addressing them in the same way that you paraded us around. Now deal with the support that you have to offer, because why they had a whole press release about a grant and all this stuff back in the summer, talked about it again on stage with us. And last time
to find out that I was not eligible because I'm considered an alternative treatment center, standalone, first New Jersey-owned business, independent, mom and pop raised, but because of our title of alternative treatment center, why we can't just say, okay, we need to change course.
Yep.
We need to pivot.
Right.
We need to pause and say, maybe we shouldn't be inviting tons of people into this industry right now. We should be developing business technical support tools for the people who are currently existing.
Yep.
Looking at where people have opted out, maybe developing zoning and cap, and then figuring out legislatively, what is our current canopy cap? What is a canopy cap that's going to look to have sustainable markets that people can actually get a return of investment?
And to your point, Suzanne, one of the things I wanted to mention is in Massachusetts last year, we were doing a lot of advocacy for raising the cap in terms of dispensary ownership, which was very controversial for a lot of different reasons, right? Yes. And it's one of those things where it's about nuance. First and foremost, I do nothing without the data and the research.
Okay.
So before I went up and advocated for anything, we had an economist. Oh my God.
An economist?
An economist.
No way.
Somebody who understands markets and industry and how the money should flow.
You fancy.
We had all right. We had a black lobbyist firm. Okay. And a local researcher who had done research in a variety of different like equity kinds of programs come together to do some research on what is the Massachusetts market doing. We saw 37 businesses close in 2024. We wanted to come out and advocate. It is a win-win. Businesses get to expand, but then also small businesses get investment, right? And I think we are the smallest cap state right now with only still 3. And, you know, there wasn't a lot of legislation that had moved for like a decade, right? So a decade. So, you know, we came in and introduced this idea as a coalition, and then, you know, there was a lot of conversation. And my whole thing is those conversations need to happen together. Like, we need to talk first.
Right. Yes.
And then go in front. And we don't have to always agree, but you have to have the conversation and talk and then go in front of the folks. And also look at the data. Right. The data is telling us very clearly. And now you're looking across states. Tell me if I'm a lie. 2 years ago was a lie. Now look at across states. We're looking at the same trend. People need the money and the investment. And if you don't have a solution, then maybe you shouldn't be, you know, thinking about what other people are bringing to the table as solutions, because folks aren't really talking about what do you do if you don't have big companies invest. Right. There's only so many grants. A lot of new investors aren't coming into markets that are older markets or that are looking to be saturated. So what is the solution? And it's crickets.
That's a really great conversation to have, because I think a lot of times that is positioned as MSOs trying to be predatory, trying to build their portfolio.
For sure.
But regardless of whatever the end goal may be, the reality is that just from a money perspective, if the state cannot intervene in a large capacity and these businesses have this money, and your option as a distressed asset is to either go into this involvement or completely lose, at least in that case, there is some level of, well, one, the generational debt, that won't occur, but then maybe there's a little chance of some sort of wealth.
Benefit.
Maybe not generational,
Right.
but some kind of a bag that you didn't have before of an asset that you built. And who else do you go to?
Who else do you go to? And not only that, too, a lot of the big companies, like, I've talked about this before, like, they've been supplying the money for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
For a lot of the sponsorships, for a lot of the what have you. A lot of that has, been tasked to the MSOs, which great, like, yes, absolutely. If you're a bigger company and you have the opportunity to be in this market, especially if you weren't impacted, you better do your due diligence and do the community stuff. And then also the state and everybody needs to then look at that. So then what does that mean for our ecosystem? Right. If we can only rely on these big companies and yet still we want to fight the big company, get it together in a room. Right. Get together in a room, right? And figure it out.
I think that's really important because, at the end of the day, the states are not going to put the money in.
They're not putting the money in. Who got the money?
And then when everyone closes, everybody just goes, and they just stop talking about it. It's a fucking grift. How else can you explain it?
Yeah.
How else can you explain it? In Jersey City right now, I have a new mayor. They have a new opportunity to, the thing that happened with IC was most of the stores actually who have closed in Jersey have been in Jersey City. And we were the most saturated in the whole state from per capita, right? Because Atlantic City also has a lot too, but they have a much smaller population than Jersey City. We have over 300,000 people. Still not enough to service for 45 to 60 dispensaries.
Y'all are crazy.
Yeah, that's way too much.
One-on-one service, baby. Come in.
Economist. One of those things in that report was just like looking at like how many stores should open per capita. I remember sitting and talking with Bo Whitney. I remember sitting and talking with him, and I was looking at another report of a study that was done on how many should open. I'm like, oh, Bo, what do you think about this? And he was like, it's a flawed methodology. Come on, talk to me, researcher. Talk to me, data person. Talk to me, economist. Why is that a flawed methodology? Well, they're not looking at the population who is cannabis consumers, right? Like you're counting whole populations, the 12-year-olds, you don't know.
Right.
So that was eye-opening to me. And once again, the nuance, the expertise, the level of care that needs to be taken to really make sure when you're making decisions, you are thinking about those things. You are thinking about all of that, or you're dooming people to fail.
Yeah. And even the thought behind the raising the cap, right? Because there's this thought like, oh my God, they're going to open a bunch of them or they're going to have more of a greater footprint. And I think there has to be a balance.
Yes.
Because, I don't think anybody wants to be like Florida.
Right.
But at the same time, if you want an MSO to have an appetite to stay in a state and outside of wanting to grow, but you're also demanding that they do certain investment, then they have to be incentivized as well.
It's a business. Like, I just always have to remind folks, like, we just got into business, right? Like, we are living in a capitalist market. I love us all who are like anti-capitalist rhetoric and all that stuff. I get it. I love it. I'm revolutionary at heart. And we just entered into a capitalistic industry. Therefore, we got to play by those capitalist rules. It's a business. And we all know that this is not a cash positive business.
Correct.
Holla if you hear me. So no matter how big you are.
For the people in the back, are you listening?
Okay.
For the people being encouraged to join tomorrow because there's generational wealth here and a bunch of things that I'm not sure why we still keep saying.
Are you listening? So ultimately, if you're not a cash positive, like cash flow, like then what do? You have to have assets. You have to have assets that are bringing in the revenue. And so if you're cutting people's access off to the assets, to your point, then what's the incentive for me to stay? And then where you going to get your weed from?
But can I add,
there's so many things. Like
when you
these are
talk about
suppliers.
assets, a lot of people don't realize owning their property is a desirable asset. So let's say that you go in and you lease your real estate. Let's say you have some financial troubles and you have to close. Many people have real estate, personal guarantees. Yeah. Now you've doubled down in debt. Yeah. Now you're in a situation to where you're not going to be able to get out of a loan or a lease arrangement that you're still obligated to pay
next
that.
10 years.
So when you're talking into individuals and doing consulting, I'm always telling individuals, look to buy your property because they consider that a collateral asset. Many people, when you're looking to scale or absorb other companies, the first thing, do you own your property?
Of course.
So when we're telling people to come into a market, take this lease, get in here, triple net, paybacks, profit sharing with landlords, all these stuff that, again, the government should be reviewing and making sure is transparent and equitable and not false and fraudulent. We're really setting people up for disaster because that person in that shopping mall and that person who owns that collateral, if you own your building, you have a better opportunity.
Absolutely.
That lease space is still a very slippery slope, especially if you're not able to effectively make that asset a positive. And maybe through no fault of your own. Right. Maybe you've gone in undereducated thinking that 10 licenses or 30 stores approved in one town is reasonable. And I'm going to build there. And you quickly find out that 14 of them are already closed. The other 15 are not going to open. And the 8 are operational or on life support.
Thanks for describing Jersey City.
Sorry, Glass.
Glass is like, I am triggered.
I am so triggered.
Sorry, Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that it's everyone's due diligence to really stop playing in people's face. Stop. I don't like that. Stop playing in my face.
Disrespect.
Start having real conversation. Because when you come to me and Idle Daughters and you ask for consulting information, I'm going to have strategic database information where I'm going to say, I don't think you might want to pursue that area because look at your competitors.
Yeah.
Look at their daily make, their daily pull. What do you think you're going to do around that? Like, what's going to be your output cost? And then when people have like this star-eyed look of, what are you talking about?
Come
what
on.
data are you
Come on.
Don't you know what your competitors are making on or around now? Like, what data systems are you using to really analyze your market? Like, what's going to be your most valuable product? Where are you going to source from? Because again, you're a retail store. Do you have a cultivation manufacturing product? Do you have a white label agreement? I'm sorry and I talk fast, but pretty much they're kind of like, humana man, like, what do you say? And then I'm thinking to myself, this is not good.
Right.
So many.
This is not
so
good.
many.
This is not good. And then just for that smile and picture and just to say that I'm a part of something,
oh God.
I worry about people to say, hey, I worry about this industry.
Yeah.
You know, people talk about equity. I think it's kind of laughable in New Jersey right now.
The only industry that I know where it felt like the bar stopped at getting licensed. That was like, you made it. You know, I'm like,
congratulations.
Oh man, you know, like I really feel like this is the only industry where I consistently, because that was one of my things. I'm like, wow, who's open, operating, and doing well? Because everybody who I'm seeing on stage, they ain't open. I'm just wondering, you know, oh, the folks who are open and operating and doing well, they got time to come. Ah, okay, that makes sense, right?
You know,
but
I love that we both came from out of the industry because we all was going to like seeing people on panels. That's why I started going, even though I also wasn't open. I had a policy background and I had a leadership background.
You were talking about a variety of things.
And I was sharing my process as I was going through it because
different.
I kept getting so confused as to why all these consultants that never constructed shit had so much constructive criticism.
Or the same people in the same state on the same panels talking about the same 7 to 8 year old industry opportunity that they had, that there's only 4 of us that can be in the room because we already have 4. And they're from 8 years ago.
That's right.
And some of them are operational, some of them may not be.
That's right.
So
Sounds
again,
like lobbyists in DC.
Lobbyists,
as my
for sure.
sister always says, shout out my sister Camila, time is the greatest truth teller.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is.
Time is the greatest truth teller.
And God, everlasting.
We all sound sad on our last episode.
What about what's going on in Hot Topics? So, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to pull that Band-Aid off.
Last episode, make it happen.
Are we really going to see a real strong ICE presence here? I know we've not talked about it on the show, but, politics, moms, cannabis, just protests, advocacy and raising our voice. What do you see as far as legislation regarding ICE? And, unfortunately, we had the first death of a protester who unfortunately lost her life. May she rest in peace. No one deserves to die over protest, regardless of what position you have. But it's just becoming, like I like to say, for those who listen, like a purge society. Are we turning into a purge culture to where we're going to have like 24 hours of anarchy in this country, that we don't have a level of civility or grace or humanity?
Jay, make sure you cue the alarms.
Right.
It's just,
it's
it's becoming distressing to talk about, to children and say blowing a whistle is now considered domestic terrorism.
Crazy.
So,
truth-telling. Truth-telling is really, it's a crime nowadays. And you're villainized when you're an honest person.
Yes.
It's disgusting.
And as you're talking about advocacy, like people barely want to hear our voice on cannabis, but let alone just major humanity conversations. Like, what do you ladies think? Like, where are we going in 2026?
To hell in a handbasket. Clearly. No one lives in reality.
No, they don't. Living in DC, I've already seen the ICE presence, and we had the National Guard there. They're still there. I still see guys standing outside my metro, and I have no idea why. Sadly, the 2 National Guard officers who were shot and the one passed,
absolutely.
and they're because of political gains. That's why those people died. And it's insane to me. And when ICE had their real presence in DC a few months ago, it was a very chilling effect on the city. Trump's out there saying that it's making the city safer and it's wonderful and yada yada. And it's like, no, it's people don't want to leave their houses. They don't want to go through checkpoints. They're afraid of getting swept up for nothing. The data,
I don't
just
feel
crazy.
comfortable. I mean, I used to enjoy smoking a blunt in DC after coming out of a meeting and walking around the Capitol and just enjoying. I don't feel comfortable doing that anymore.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm at a Target, just an open air smell of marijuana, let alone the color of my skin or what may be perceived as my ethnicity or my, if I choose to talk, yard style with my Jamaican girlfriend over here, my dialect that I may not bring out in public because again, in the times that we're doing. Like, what are your thoughts?
I think it's more of the same this year. I don't see anything shifting. I haven't seen any real movement on the political front or in our governments to really stop any of this or to really sit down and say this can't happen. Nobody has really stood up and put a foot down. So, I think we see more of the same, but one of the things that I feel and hope and know that is on the ground level is people are coming together in community to build their own systems, right? Coming together into community to protect people. And I think that's one of the dopest things that I've seen come out of all of this. I am in a place of, talking the other day to family, and I'm just listen, I am in a place where we create what we want. Yes, we are living in something that, we don't have all the control over, but we have control over our day to day. We have control over our sphere of influence. And if you can protect people, if you can help people, then it's I see people doubling down in that. So I feel you're just going to see even more.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Love it. Modern day abolitionists.
That's it.
Yep. Keeping people in the house and
that's it.
Saving them, supporting them, feeding them.
That's it.
Right. Whatever it is, we have to go back to those times where community supported each other. And I just feel so grateful that my store is even here, right? Because to beat out multiple celebrities, because the other one is in Newark, which is also not far from me. So to be still standing, and to Gretchen, what we were talking about, it's community. Is being active in the community, it's showing up, it's the consistency, which over time, the truth will always tell who's really there to do that work, who's really there to be a part of the community. When I had gotten hit, it was the day before my 1-year anniversary of the store. And my community who sees me in the store as an owner operator, sitting at the front, scanning IDs, being there, getting to know everybody's name, learning what they love. They knew about this. And they also know that I do that every day and go there and don't pay myself. Right? I have a whole staff of people that I'm paying. And my community came, all of Jersey City, Hoboken, Hudson County, your social capital, the people that know and love you and know your heart and know your work, and they come and they show up for you.
I love that.
And that's what my community did for me. I wouldn't be here doing this show. I wouldn't be able to have the medical care if I didn't have that relief. I got 2 kids. Yes. And I'm doing this generational wealth thing that is fucking bankrupting me. Yes. Y'all know in one of those last episodes in November, I told you I sold my house. It's a nightmare. So at the end of the day, as long as we continue to show up for each other and protect each other, that's what's going to move us forward.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So what's on the horizon, ladies, that we are excited about in 2026? The year of the horse, the year of spiritual change, the year of just breaking through cycles and just living my best life for me. I think I've been on this earth far too long to be people-pleasing other people. So for probably the last year, I've been really pleasing Suzanne and thinking about the things that I want to do. So what's been on your mind in 2026? Or something you maybe haven't done, or something you're thinking about doing, or something you would like to do?
Get out of cannabis.
Really?
Gretchen's see you later.
She said faster than I could. Of course, the 2 Aquarians don't have time for this shit.
Being from DC, but I feel truly that I've been slamming my head against the wall for 12 years. And no matter what I tell this industry, they don't listen. They all know better. They all have, spent countless hours, in Washington doing their thing, and they know exactly how this place works. It's like me going to a pot farm and being like, I grow tomatoes in my bbackyard every year. I got this. I can be your master grower. That's how I feel when these folks come to Washington and tell me how to do my job. Don't have a clue. And it it drives me at the wall. If we're living in unicorns and rainbows like this industry loves to do, this is what we need to do. I want you to spend $50 million this year on education, on a strategy to actually try and get something done in Washington. Because lobbying for various bills is not going to happen. Right. Bills aren't going to pass as much as we want them to. It's just not going to happen in election year. So take your money and spend it on education. Lawmakers need to understand what's going on, and they don't. And again, this is a pipe dream, but this is how this whole industry operates, is on pipe dream. So put your money where it needs to be in educating and trying to help people better understand this industry so they might actually start to care about us. That's what I would love. But if that's not going to happen, you may not see me very soon.
So what are you thinking about? Like,
anything
I remember
else.
like watching Gretchen on Trade to Black and just being like, she's such a badass. This woman is so smart.
So frustrated.
No, this is what's happening
that's
in
how
cannabis.
I met you, Gretchen. Like
We're
was
losing
literally
everyone.
faithfully watching this,
I'm
and I
so
would be
glad
like,
you watched.
they would be like, Gretchen's on. I'm like, I'm watching because this lady comes on. She's so transparent. She's so smart. Her common sense approach. So even though you're frustrated, Gretchen, your space, your energy is well needed. So maybe you want to do something for yourself in media. Because Gretchen, I would tune in to you daily outside of our personal relationship to say, Gretchen, like, what is going on? Like, what is the strategy? Seriously.
I'm happy to give people my strategy. You just got to pay me. And this is what this industry refuses to do, is pay people who know what the fuck they're talking about.
Agreed.
Right. And I think
They're like, oh, my cousin Mo,
sustainable.
he's a lobbyist, I'll pay him. And I'm like, I hate you all. Or I'm going to pay the same lobbyist who's been telling me the same bullshit pipe dreams for the past 10 years. But let's just keep doing it. Let's just keep slamming our head against the wall and saying, yes, it's going to work. Because, you know, paying these guys has worked so well for you in the past.
Yeah.
Keep it up, this all bro white boy club that y'all love.
It's not sustainable.
We don't love it.
Well, yeah.
We don't love it. And it's not sustainable. And what's going to happen is that the folks that have passion, have know-how, are honest, transparent, are concerned about research, data, education, they're going to leave. The fact that I'm a disabled veteran that consumes cannabis, came home, jumped into this, and these people have treated me this way, you think that's the thank you I wanted when I came home? It was a smack in the fucking face. That's how mad I am about this shit. A smack in the face. And you think now I get to take my brilliance and being a professor and everything that you do, and we actually were working together. You're welcome, New Jersey. We're here together.
Yes.
Like, these people are going to leave.
Yeah.
We are going to leave, and then all of the predatory, the scamming, the bros, the tech, the ulterior motive, the grifters, the fucking list of adjectives of all the people. It's going to really, really go to hell in a handbasket when we lose this passion. So, RIP, very sorry. Don't know what to tell you. Good luck.
Danielle? What is a wish, a want, or a possibility on the horizon that's something that you might want to work with?
Yeah. When it comes to the industry, Gretchen, you said what one of my priorities is this year, which is education, right?
Education.
Education and really doubling down back into the consumer, right? Doubling down back into the consumer. That's my focus. Yeah, we will advocate. We'll do all the things we can. But you know what my immediate sphere of influence is? Making sure that the customers and our community have what they need. So we're going to double down in education. We are going to make sure, like our elders, we're going to make sure our vets, we're going to make sure all of the different populations of folks, our medical patients who need additional information are going to get it. So we're having some fun projects and initiatives with, once again, everything that we do is for community by community. So I look for the folks who are in the community who has the knowledge base. I pay them to then go back into community and educate. And so we're going to be doing that across a couple of different markets with a couple of different populations. And I couldn't be more excited. It's going to help improve people's lives and give them more opportunities. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
It was music to my ears in our last show when Holly said that her products she has developed not to get high. It's about the experience and how you want to feel.
Yes.
And so many more people need to approach this industry from that aspect. Yes. It ain't about the highest THC level. It's about understanding the cannabinoids, what works for you, what doesn't, getting the actual wellness products that you need.
That's it.
And educating people on how that works. And I applaud you and Ascend for trying to do education. I would say take some of that money and put it into real public campaigns. I hear you on your communities,
right?
But I'm saying we need a much bigger national push on trying to educate this world on what cannabis can do. And I don't understand why everyone thinks $1 million check here or there to the president is going to get this world change in this industry.
No,
that's not. We need education, education.
Yeah.
All over the place to help people understand.
1,000% agreed. We're looking for that coalition. That coalition of folks.
The coalition doesn't exist.
Yeah. That's okay. We're gonna make it. There's enough of those small organizations or large whatever who are doing this work. Come together. Everybody sit down. We're gonna pull us together. That's okay. Don't worry. We'll pull us together.
That's right.
We'll put Eliza pulled representatives together here from each. We will go find our folks and bring them back to the table, because if we don't get in a room and get it together, that will be my litmus test.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we can get in a room and get it some way halfway together, all right, there's some hope. If we're getting in a room and we still on nonsense and we're still only focused on what we want and how it, then it is going to be what it is.
I think for me, it's aligning with things that are my purpose. I think 2025 was just a big year of revelations, personally and professionally. And in 2026, if it's aligned with my purpose, then we can collaborate.
Yes.
But if not, I bless you and be well. And I think for me, doubling down in holistic creativity and encouraging people to work with business mentors. Finding a good business mentor, someone that you can trust and build with, I think is extremely important. Tapping into the level of creativity. I think when the noise is so loud, I think that's when God wants me to be the most still. And in the stillness, I found my creativity and more of my purpose. So for me, it's just really pushing more of my consulting business, helping individuals that are currently in this space, advocating to those and educating to those about what the real industry is, and developing more products that are manufactured by women, minority, and communities that have been disproportionately impacted. Most of the products on the markets that we consume are really supported by community or culture. So I think for me, finding brands, and I'm so proud of Holly and everyone else that's in the culture and community that is consistent and collaborative. We are the community, and don't let people tell us that we're not. And I think that's the important thing of just being encouragement and continuing to go out. I think for 2025, the last 4 months, I was kind of focused on something, but to be more visible and to kind of get back out and to be sociable. I always tell people, if you're not sociable and collaborative, people won't know how to help you. People won't know how to approach you. So maybe driving and showing up at someone's dispensary, even if they hadn't shown up at yours, just to offer that word of advice or just that friendship of, hey, how are you? It's collaborative.
Yes.
I believe that we all can win. Not 10 of us, not 4 of us, not 6 of us. I believe that we all can win across the board.
Yes.
And if we collaborate to win, and just like you said, Danielle, understanding business, the first dance may not be the most financial, but make sure you have good counsel, because the second dance will probably be a lot more lucrative.
That's right.
Because you understand the dynamics. Now you have a most valuable product that you've launched into the market with the support of something else. And I think that's what people need to understand, that business is done in so many ways, but it can be done in so many good ways.
That's right.
And really, I'm all about holding our government accountable. You can't tell me you were started on equity, transparency, and integrity and don't act like my mother would say. You have to act like you walk. So we are going to be watchful, like the towers of Aragon. We're lighting the towers. We are all lighting our torches in our towers, and we are watching, and we are coming to the battle unified because we're going to win. I believe it. We are going to win. It's not going to be easy. Some of us may be lost, like the 300. Because 300 led to the rise of the empire, and we shook shit up.
That's right.
But the 300, the Miscalese, the Persians went down. But some people had to go down in the battle, but we need to be able to stand in the cause and speak the truth.
Suzanne, I just quoted Leonidas the other day. I said, it's not fear that grips me, but a heightened sense of things. Yes.
We
Don't
are
let the fear take you, but you better be cognizant of what's happening around you.
I love their energy. I went to war in real life. Fuck you very much. I've been in enough battles.
There's no window.
I did not ask for this. I went through real life battles outside of a real life battle. Fuck you. Yeah, no, I'm not going to give you more of me. So you might not have these two Aquarians here, but these two in the end, they clearly have some more in them. So
listen,
I will pray for you all.
Listen, I'm Harriet Tubman. We go north. We come back, we go north. I'm forever, ever here, whether you like it or not. I'm here. And I'm here to work and collaborate and build. So you will see us. Yes. And Eliza will be here and Gretchen will be here.
We go where we're celebrated, not tolerated.
Exactly.
Always.
And again, big shout out to Ascend, because again, without Ascend, Danielle, Gretchen, Dr. Eliza, bless up to Jasmine, looking forward to meeting those beautiful babies. This conversation was so needed, and I was just so happy to be a part of this fantastic show. Shout out to Flowers and Tea Ladies.
Same. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Eliza, for bringing us together.
Eliza.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting in my vision, being able and being willing to be so transparent with your operations, with your experiences, with your knowledge, and just really, this is a form of advocacy. This is a form of communication, right? If we go to the CRC, and you know how many times I went up there and screamed, and they just staring at me.
And they're like, time's up.
Yeah. 3 minutes. You know, now you can't escape it.
Yes.
You're gonna hear it, you gotta receive it, and you gotta know it's also not personal. Right? Because this is our lives, this is our livelihood, and we're just sharing with you our experience and hoping that because of the position you're in, that you would care enough to try to course correct. And the fact that ego is so rooted in this that people can't just simply be like, damn, we fucked up. However, we gonna fix it, because why would we not fix it? Because this is what we care about. So when you don't do it, it kind of sends the message like you don't care.
You don't care.
So,
and you said you cared, so let's care.
This has been Flowers and Tea. We hope that you enjoyed the show. It is much different than anything that we've done in the past. We brought the View style to cannabis, round table, brilliant women, showcasing only women-owned places and only having women on the show. I've never seen anything like it.
It doesn't exist.
No.
Never been done. Shout out to an MSO, Ascend, that saw me, heard me, believed in it, and we brought it to fruition. 6 episodes that are pushing the envelope, and we hope that you'd enjoy being here with us. Ladies, do you have any final words before we close?
Shout out to the great state of New Jersey. Let's go, New Jersey. We believe in you.
Yes.
We got you. Let's collaborate. Let's get it done, Jersey.
Yep. G, what you got?
I got nothing.
Fucking defeated.
I'm done.
Oh, I want my $2,000 check. I am waiting on my check.
$2,000 check.
And Suzanne is still waiting on that check.
I am waiting. I know. Thank you for the military. They got their 1766. President Trump.
76.
What is it?
1776.
1766.
Like the 250th anniversary.
Yes, they got that change.
You didn't get that? You thought that was just some random number they came up with?
No, you're getting a check.
What fucking check? I didn't get no check.
You didn't get a check. You're not getting a check.
Why are you
She's not getting a check. No.
Active duty? Only active duty?
I think it's active duty. Or it might just be National Guard.
Well, the $2,000 check that President Trump promised for the tariffs, I need that tariff money.
If you could run me
Please, President Trump.
That'd be great.
Please. We like you. And we said nice things about you, too.
D, let us off on a high note.
Listen to the experts. They exist. They are here. Come and listen to the experts and do your research and take care of yourself, and all will be well.
Yes.
I got something to say.
Okay. Give me.
When you say listen to the experts, listen to people who do not agree with you. There might be a reason behind it.
Say that again, Gretchen, please.
Listen to those who don't agree. You don't need yes men.
Come on.
You need a community to understand the best way to move forward for everyone. Everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just a little insight on how we operate, and I think this is an Aquarius trait, but maybe there's other out there that operate this way. if I'm yelling this much, or I'm giving this much passion to something, or this much effort, I care so much, because let me tell you how I could give a fuck about nothing. Real fast. You can be poof, gone in my life in 2.5 seconds. So actually, this is a form of love. I want you to understand, this is a form of love.
Can I share something as a Cancerian? Cardi B, Bodak Yellow. If you see me in the street and I don't speak, that means I don't with you. So don't speak to me, because I want to keep my peace in 2026.
Okay. Yes.
Shout out Cardi. Can't wait to go to the concert.
I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful new year. Thank you for being here with us. This is Flowers and Tea. Until next time, see you later.
See you.